my channel, I discuss on faith, lifestyle, and development. So if you're new here or if you're interested in any of those things, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's very easy to subscribe. Just click on the red button that says subscribe and that's it. It's free, it's quick, it's simple. So for this video, I actually just came back from church, and for this video I wanted to share a faith topic. And I've been thinking about it for about a week now, and yesterday I was like, you know what, I think I'm just gonna work on it and then today share with you guys after church. So I just got home from church and I was like, okay, perfect timing to share this. So the topic that I wanted to share with you all today is let God be the waymaker. Indeed, right? And there's a whole background of that I'm going to try to discuss later, but I just wanted to read a Bible portion for reference points, and then I just want this to be more of like a discussion or a chat, so it's not necessarily just Bible reading. But anyway, so let's get started. Once again, the topic is let God be the waymaker indeed. And the Bible portion I'm going to be using as reference today is Exodus 14:10-30. So I'm not going to read the whole 10 to 30, but I'll pick some verses in the Bible in that portion, in that section to read. And if I start from Exodus 14 verse 10, let me just start from there. It says, as Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, leave us alone? Let us serve the Egyptians. It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert. 13. Moses answered the people, do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring to you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. So just give some context. So this is about, the Israelites when they were trying to escape from the Egyptians, and Moses was the leader at that time, leading them. And they were trying to cross, they were trying to escape, and it seemed impossible. It seemed they were going to get killed and dominated by the Egyptians. So this is Moses telling them not to be afraid and encouraging them that God was going to bring them out of the land of Egypt and from suffering and from oppression and things like that. So let's fast forward to verse 17. This is God speaking, I believe. It says, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them, after the Israelites, that is. And I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. 18. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots and his horsemen. And 19, then the angel of God, who had been traveling in front of Israel's army, withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them. So this is just talking about what happened and how the angel of God was moved from being in front of the Israelites to their back to kind of support. But we can see more in the following verses. So let's jump to 21. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided, and the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. And if you go down to verse 25, part B, and the Egyptians said, let's get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt. 26. Then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak, the sea went back to its place. The Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen. The entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the Israelites into the sea, not one of them survived. So that's just the reading. If you wanted to read more for context, when you finish watching this video, that's perfectly fine. But where I was reading was Exodus 14, 10 to 30. That's kind of where I was picking some verses to read from. Okay, so what does all of this mean? So I was inspired to share this because I feel like a lot of times, like the Israelites, right, we complain about something. We complain about what we're going through, about our situation, our circumstances, and it's okay to complain, but it's probably not okay to complain all the time. It's okay to be honest with God about how you feel. It's okay to tell God that you don't like what's going on in your life, or you don't like how a particular situation is playing out in your life. It's okay to be honest. I think God can handle your honesty. It's okay to complain. I was reading somewhere in the Purpose Driven Life book by Pastor Rick Warren, and it was talking about how it's actually fine to complain. God can handle it. God can handle that, right? Obviously, it's not good to complain all the time, but it's okay to once in a while be honest with yourself and with God that, you know what, I actually don't like this, and I would really like for it to change. So a lot of times we complain, and we don't see a way out of a situation that we're trying to get out of. We don't see a possibility in terms of what we're hoping for God to do. We pray for it, but then again, it doesn't look possible, so we doubt and we complain. But I just wanted to encourage us, and I think I was saying it to a group of friends a couple weeks ago, that God is called a waymaker for a reason, right? He's called a waymaker literally for a reason. If there was a way for you to take, you don't need a waymaker. Just take the way. If there was a way for you to take that is very obvious, you don't need God for that. Just take the way, right? But the whole point of God being a waymaker is in those situations where it doesn't seem like there's a way out, where it doesn't look like there's a way out, that's where God can show his glory. That's where God can show his power, that yes, he is indeed the waymaker. So, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and, pretty much say that it's a no-brainer if there was an obvious way. But the reason why God is called a waymaker is because he needs to make a way in situations where it feels like there's no way. And just having that at the back of our minds can be very helpful as we go through life, as we go through challenges, as we go through whatever it is that we're praying to God for. If you need a new job, or if you need to change something in your life that you don't like and you're praying, if you need healing, if you're sick and you need healing from God, and it seems there's no way out, but that's where God comes in, right, as the waymaker. Also, Isaiah 43:19 talks about how God says that he will make a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Again, God likes to specialize in areas where it doesn't look like there's a way. It doesn't seem like there's a way. Humanly speaking, like human minds, we can't even process or comprehend how there's a way for something. But that's where God specializes in. God clearly specializes in the impossible. In the book of Matthew 19:26, it says, "For with God all things are possible," right? All things are possible. Nothing is impossible to God. Now, to us, it might seem impossible because, the numbers don't add up. The statistics for that is kind of low, right? Or whatever it is that we're looking at, the numbers, the history, whatever it is, right? To us, it might seem impossible, but to God, nothing is impossible. And I like how, a pastor that I was listening to recently called him, he's the impossibility specialist. God is the impossibility specialist. Like, this is what he likes to do. Like, in those situations where it seems impossible, he shows himself that he is the waymaker. He makes all things in it. As far as God is concerned, nothing is impossible. So that's kind of like what I wanted to share for today. Key points that I wrote down is just reduce complaint. It's okay to complain sometimes, but let's show more gratitude and let's show more faith and trust in God, knowing that He is the way maker. God is the way maker. So let's keep that in mind. Let's trust God. A lot of times when we complain is because we've been spending too much time in our thoughts, and we get to a point of self-pity, like, why me? Why is this happening to me? And then we start to complain, right? But being able to regroup and catch ourselves that, okay, you know what? I cannot dwell in this forever. I know the God that I serve. I trust the God that I serve. He is the impossibility specialist, and He makes a way where there seems to be no way. Having that at the back of your mind is encouraging. It gives you confidence in God, and it helps you trust God more and put your hopes in God, right? Because a lot of times it's interesting, like, we look to certain things to give us hope. We look to what's in our bank account. We look to if we have a job. We look to the people that we know. While those things are great and they're great resources, God is still the ultimate way maker. Like, literally, God is still the ultimate way maker. And I think just constantly reminding ourselves of that is very key. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Just to remind us that the whole point of God in our lives, when it looks like there is no way, is for Him to show Himself that He is the way maker, He's the impossibility specialist, and is our God. For that reason, and we need to depend on Him and look to Him for guidance. Put our hopes in Him, and not in man. Put our hopes in God. But yeah, I hope this minister to somebody today. I just wanted to share this message. God laid it on my heart. I'm like, okay, I'm going to come on my channel and I'm going to share this as part of my faith series or faith topic, and I hope someone was encouraged by this. I've come to the end of this video. If you liked my video, if you like my channel, and if you like my past videos, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.